So now we're going to create, and this is going to be a pretty much a QML function, and we're going to pass string into here, and we're now going to create the function, and this is going to be called showScreen, and we're going to pass self, and then we're going to call this the screen name, which is going to be that string that gets passed in from that slot, and we're going to do a quick if statement. If screen name, which is the name we're calling, is in the self.screen objects. Okay, and if the screen you typed is in screen objects, what it's going to do is it's going to firstly hide all screens, and then it's going to show your specified screen. And we're going to set that property to true. Okay, so now show screen will, if it sees it, it's going to hide the screen, and then it's going to show your screen. And if the string you typed in doesn't match a screen in the screen objects, we're going to do an else statement here, and that is just going to print in f strings screen, and then we're going to do single quotes here. Oops. And then within the single quotes, we're going to do squirrely brackets, and we're going to do the screen name does not exist. Okay, so we're going to show screen. If the screen name does belong in the dictionary, then the first thing it's going to do is hide every single screen, and then it's going to show your screen. If it doesn't, if that doesn't exist, then it won't do anything. Okay, now that we have this done, we're going to go ahead and work on the audio player. Audio player is going to be a little bit more code. So we're going to do our imports first, and we're going to import, I think I still have this, no I don't. So from PySide6, I'm actually going to copy this because we're going to do a couple imports. So from PySide6.QtCore, we're going to want to import QObject, the QURL, and slot. Let's get a space in here. There we go. And we're going to also want to import from PySide6.Qt multimedia. We're going to want to import the QMedia player. We're going to want to import the QAudio output and the QMedia devices. Also, we're going to want to import from typing, import dict. So let's go ahead and create the audio player. So I'm going to start defining the class for it. And we're going to do 2 underscores. And that's going to be, we're going to pass QObject into the class. And we're going to create the init. And we're going to super init it. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a empty dictionary, which is going to be called the audio out dict. And then we're going to want to create the default device. And that's going to be equal to the QMedia devices dot default audio output. And this will go in, figure out what your audio output is, your default audio output. And then we're going to want to do the self dot default device description, and that is going to be equal to the self dot default device dot description. So now we're going to go and get our default audio output, and we're going to get its description. Now we're going to go ahead and do the self.current output. I'm going to create another variable. And this is going to be equal to the default device. Oh, that's supposed to be an equal, not a minus. Minus, not, yep, there we go. Okay, so now that we have the current output, we're going to go ahead and create an audio out dict. And this is going to be the default device description, and it's going to be equal to the default device. So now what we're doing is we're passing this, we're adding this to the dictionary. So the audio out dict, this is the keyword, which is the device description, and then that's going to be equal to the device. And I think this probably order of operation looks a little better. So we have our default device, the default device description, and we are adding that to the dictionary. We're also creating another variable called our current output, and we're actually making that equal to our default device, but this could change at any time. So the reason why I have it laid out this way is current output is something that will be changed within QML, and it will change whatever available output you have. You'll be able to change here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to create another variable, and we're going to call this available devices, and we're just going to make this local to the class itself. And we're going to make this equal to the QMediaDevices dot audio outputs. So now we're going to go ahead and iterate through the available devices. So we're going to say for device in available devices. And what we're going to say in here is device description. And we're going to make that equal to the device dot description. And now we're going to do an if statement. So if device description is not equal to self dot default device description, then self dot audio out dict, and we're going to create the device description, and that is going to be equal to device. Then outside that, we will have it go ahead and we're going to print a couple things. We're going to print the audio dict just so you can see. And we're also going to print the default audio output device. And that's going to be set to self dot default device dot description. Oops, and we should put these prints not in the iteration. Okay, so now that we have the prints there, we're actually going to go ahead and create an empty dictionary, and we're going to add type hinting to it so that it will suggest that the QMedia player is set as a key and QAudio output is set as a value. So how that works is we're going to do we're going to call this the player dict, which is the audio player dictionary. This is going to hold the audio file, and then when the audio file is done, it's going to remove it. So we're going to go ahead and create that as a dictionary, and then we're going to add the type hinting to it, and we're going to add QMedia player and the QAudio output, and we're going to make that equal to an empty dictionary. Okay, so now that we have the initializing done, let's go ahead and actually work on the function. So this is going to be a slot, and we're going to pass a string into it, and we're going to call this the play audio, and we're going to add a file path, which is going to be that string. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a variable called audio file, and that is going to be equal to the QMedia player. Oops, we need to create an object out of that audio file, and then we're going to create an audio output, and we're also going to add that as an object of QAudio output. And so I'm also going to create another variable here, and we're going to call this name, and it's actually going to be the string version of audio file. Okay, so this is going to get kind of weird, but what we're going to do is we're going to access the dictionary, and we're going to put the keyword in as the name, and then we're actually going to add to this keyword, the value of the keyword, we're going to add 2 keywords and 2 values to that. So we're going to go ahead and have one called audio file, and that's going to be equal to audio file, and we're also going to have one called audio output, and that's going to be equal to audio output. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to edit this. So we're going to go into the player dict. We're going to go into that name. Then we're going to go into the audio file. And we're going to go ahead and, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to set audio output. So what this is doing is this is using this audio file here, so like I can show you the access of that, because this linter at this point will no longer see it. But if we did audio file dot set audio output, you see it right there. And sometimes I actually like to do this just to make sure I'm actually typing it in right. Okay, so we're going to set the audio output. And we're going to set the audio output to the self dot player dict name, and we're going to go into the audio output. Okay, so now we are taking the audio file and we're setting the audio output to it.